In a previous video I showed how I resized 30-06 brass for my M1. Today I'm completing the rounds on the Dillon 450. I've run 30 so far, everything is set up and running well. I've got a Lee Universal expanding die in Station 1 for a very light case mouth bell to make seating the bullet a little easier. I'm using a Hornady 3037B 150 grain full metal jacket today. It does have a bolt tail, so it really doesn't need that case bell. I just leave it set up for when I shoot flat base bullets. It's ready to go. Station 2 is a Lee Universal powder charging die with a Lee Perfect powder measure. This makes the powder measure case actuated. Station 3 has a Hornady seating die in it, and Station 4 is a Lee factory crimp die. I'll run a couple rounds and you can see how the process goes. Put the case in, seat a bullet. There's your powder charge. Prime, seat the primer. Goes pretty quick once you get the rhythm figured out. It's an enjoyable machine to load on. I'd like to get another Dillon strong mount to raise this press up just a little higher. It is a bit low. I have my 550 on one of the strong mounts, and I do like the height of the press off the bench a little bit better than this one down on the surface. The other thing I like about the strong mount is it gives you the option to have the brass tray right up front. You can see that, you know, when I throw these in, I have to reach over here because I don't have a good spot. On the strong mount, you end up with a brass tray right here, so I think it's well worth it. And you can have the bullet feed tray as well. So they go pretty quick, really. Pretty soon I'll have to refill the powder hopper. We're throwing 45.8 grains for each cartridge, so it goes pretty quickly. But one of my viewers commented after the last video something to the effect of, do you have a different press for each gun? In this case, I guess I kind of do. This 450 stays set up for 30-06 primarily for the cases for the M1. I occasionally use it for the 1917 Enfield depending on what I'm doing, but in general this stays set up with this powder charged, this bullet ready to go, so whenever it's time to load M1 ammunition, it's just a matter of verifying that the powder charge is still right and that the bullet seating depth is still right and everything is happy. But it'll run them out. Nope, there I messed up with a primer. It got snagged a little bit. These are Remington primers, and I find that they are a little bit fussy sometimes in the little feed mechanism inside the primer feed, but we got it taken care of. I'll be a little bit more deliberate with it there. That one fed fine. And I think the reason they're a little bit different in that regards is the anvil seems to be quite proud of the cup when they're fresh out of the package, and I think they tend to snag just a little bit. But not serious enough to warrant changing. They run fine. So starting to get the tray a little full here, but they go pretty quickly. It makes a good bullet. Now you will notice a little different in the cantilever versus the case. Sometimes a case is a tiny bit shorter. I did trim all these and I noticed that some of them were a little on the short side, but not enough to worry about. And then there is some variance on the bullets, so you know you're seating off the ogive of the bullet up here, so depending on how accurate the cantilever is and whatnot, you'll see a little difference if you just judge those that way. I use a seating depth that's a balance between this bullet and the 3039C bullet. They're very, very similar in their shape, so I just kind of balance where I have them both in the cantilever pretty well at a depth that my 1917 Enfield likes. So that's how I run these on the 450. I would guess that most people know that a 450 is more or less the same frame as a 550, but it doesn't use a removable tool head. I've got this one set up with manual priming, and I'm not using a Dillon measure. Obviously, I'm using the Lee measure. So anyway, that's how I run the 30-06 on the Dillon 450. All set up in a end block clip here, ready to go. So the next thing is give them a quick inspection, get them in the clip, and get them in the ammo can. Thanks for watching.